Fine Pig HD here with another episode of PigCast for you. Another edition of it. Again, I've got the popular character of my brother Tom on there. Tom, how you doing?
Doing wonderful, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too shabby, mate. Just reading in from some of the comments that I got on the last video, which was quite
There's a lot of love
amusing.
going around for me.
There was a lot of love, yeah.
There
Some people
was.
didn't like the fact that you're still supporting Louis Van Gaal after, all
Well, I
the
wouldn't
terrible
say
performances
supporting
we got.
Louis Van Gaal is the right way to put it. I would say being rational is a better way to put it. We've had enough conversation about Louis Van Gaal and his credentials, what he can bring to the table. Let me just elaborate, because I did say, if you remember, I did say yesterday that my opinion might change. Obviously, I watched your video. I listened to stuff read stuff on Twitter, listened to people talking, the usual overreaction and melodrama that was going on. And, I thought, well, I woke up today, I thought about it, I was like, I actually have the same opinion, but even stronger. Some of these so-called Man United fans, really, I mean, it's sad. It's 25 years. Someone did correct that. 25 years without the league title. Those are Man United fans. This comment of "we're Man United," right? Support them then. Get behind them no matter what. Through thick and thin, you should be behind them. Not every time there's a bad result. This is boring. This is pathetic. This is awful. Actually, get behind your team. This is why the rest of the country make fun of Man United fans. It's because they're just the term glories hunter, glories for. Have a bit of patience. Have a little bit of respect for the process. Have a little respect for Louis Van Gaal, one of the most successful managers of his era. We're all quick to think we know more than this guy.
I think the problem is when you've got the blind leading you, in the sense of most people can see that what he's doing is just not working out there for Manchester United on the pitch consistently. It's not the problem. The problem is it's just not getting any better. He's not the right fit. So if he's not the right fit, then why would you keep with him just to support the team? You can support the team.
Who is the right fit?
Oh my God! You can support the team as much as you want, but if you've got the man who's in charge of them and dictating what they do, causing them to play poorly, and we're not getting the results, and we're not putting the performances in there, then surely you have to take a step back and say, look, what is actually best for the future of Manchester United? Is it to stick with this man who may or may not turn it around, or is it to allow somebody else an opportunity to come
may
in
or
there
may
and
not.
do things a bit differently? Because what we've been doing for the last 18 months is not working.
They made the Champions League his first
and they got knocked out
in
of
the
Champions League in
they
the
got
group
knocked
stage
out
this year.
Yeah, happened many years
in a group they should have easily won, in my opinion.
Again, happened many years before.
But I don't think it's ever happened before.
Why is it okay for Ferguson to take 6 years to win a title? Why was that?
Because it was a completely different time.
No.
Like I said to you previously, yes, it was. You can't take over a side that's been successful for 20 years, spend £250 million and not get any results from it. Ferguson came in at a time where Manchester United hadn't won anything for a very long time. And
here's what's going to happen. Not quite true, but here's what's going to happen. They won the FA Cup like 2 years before he started. Anyway.
Or the Ponzi FA Cup. Who gives a shit about that? I'm talking about league titles here, mate.
Exactly. I used to care about that. You know what happened after Matt Busby left was pretty much the same thing that's going on now. Too much greed, a lack of patience. Inheriting someone else's squad and not being given time to stamp your own identity. Doesn't matter if it's a good squad.
Whoa. Surely he could stamp his identity with £250 million, which is what he's done. If that's not stamping your identity, I don't know what that is.
He's made a bunch of really good signings. That is stamping your authority, you're right.
He's made a bunch of good signings. I wouldn't say really good.
Steiger, Schneiderlin, Blind.
I don't think Schneiderlin's really looked that great this season. He's had his moments.
He's all right. He's solid.
Should be a lot more to come from him.
Luke Shaw was a fantastic signing. He is going to be phenomenal. That was
Mitchell was
obviously a
basically
freak.
bought before he even, he wasn't really
Right, but
outside.
still, I mean, Van Gaal was in the position when he was bought, and I might be wrong, but I don't think I am.
Daley
Yeah, you can have
Blind,
some more,
he
honey.
keeps playing him at centre back. I rate Daley Blind, but I prefer him as a left back or centre defensive mid. I don't think he's physical enough. His
Do it
physical
more.
presence doesn't have enough good sort of athleticism in order to be a centre
Yeah,
back in the Premier League. He was always getting protected by the centre defensive
I
mid,
guess.
like Fellaini. We were
I get.
basically having a double up all the time on Daley Blind.
Here it is. I guess my main point is that when you support an organisation, I heard some of this nonsense about we're paying money to get entertained. When you support an organisation, you give your full support behind them. Okay, and
That's what
then
United fans do until it doesn't, until it
that's
clearly
what they
isn't
do
working.
until it gets a little bit hard, and then
No,
they
until
go.
it clearly isn't working. I mean, fair enough. You can support it as blindly as long as you want, but
No,
it's only
it's
gonna, it's
not
only gonna,
blindly.
it's
You
only
can
well,
you
it's
can
only getting worse though. It's
you
not going
can
to be
come
better.
away and debate. Don't get me wrong. You can come away and say this, but when you're booing at the match, that's pathetic.
Not really, because it's just a France. It's basically a protest showing,
I disagree
trying to
with Van
show
Gaal
them.
when he said I deserve to be booed. I was like, are you kidding me?
No, he does deserve to be booed, mate. It's unacceptable. He said himself they freaking deserve to be booed. He said himself he's not fulfilled the expectations that were put upon him. He
Randy
said that.
Mullenstein said so. Anyway, let's get back to style of play. If it's the style of play you want to know Ferguson. What was Ferguson's style of play?
Counter-attacking, always trying to win as well.
Counter-attacking, always trying to win as well. Always trying to win for sure. Counter-attacking, it really depended, right? They were great on the counter.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it was swift counter-attacking football.
right.
You basically,
Yes.
you'd be looking to hit them quickly on the break. That's how Manchester United played.
They did, yeah. When transition occurred, they played quickly.
You don't need all the possession in the world. You just need to hit them quick on the break. That was.
Yeah.
Obviously, it evolved and changed over time. You don't play the same tactics from one week
No,
to the
they
next.
could play anyway. That's kind of the point I was getting to.
Yeah.
They could play any style, and it didn't matter. They could adapt in Europe. I know away from home they played 4-5-1, and it was a little bit different. They sit back a little bit more, play a little bit more continental. They could do the 4-4-2. They could do anything. He did experiment. Remember that year when we had no width for about half the year? We still ended up winning the league because he's so good. But he did experiment a few times. Anyway, Randy Mullenstein said the first day that he got in the position, he sat down with Ferguson. Obviously, we know Ferguson didn't lead training for a long, long time. He said, you're in charge of training, and you're going to train the players to play this way. And he says, I want us to be unpredictable in attack and quick. And he said, that's what we've got to be, and we have to always try and win every single game. No matter what the score, whether we're 4-0 up or we're 1-0 down, last 15 minutes, we go at them.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Obviously, you've got to dial it down. But if you notice, United, a lot of the time, we always talked about late goals. Yeah, that's true. But we also often scored a goal when we were already winning because we hit them on the break, right? We wouldn't.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Once you go behind, they come at you, you hit them on the break. That's what Manchester United were masters at under Fergie.
They came up with a traffic light system at Man United. And basically it was red, amber, green. And basically, when he was in the thick of it with Tevez, Ronaldo, Rooney, and these guys, green is their defensive third or our offensive third. I'm going to get a lot of percent offensive as well, but I live in America, so there you go. The middle is amber, and your defensive third or their attacking third is red. So basically, the idea is you're going to play slower out of your third, okay? You're going to play a little bit slower, you're going to play out, and it's a red sign, so massive caution, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In amber, basically, you can take touches, you play a little bit quicker, you can take touches, and you can take some, but obviously you've got to be cautious, just like when you're, going for a traffic light, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then green, basically what he told them, and if you look at Man United play, you can see it. When you get the ball in that third, you either pass first time or you take someone on. And it was that simple. And that's what Ronaldo, Tevez, and Rooney were told to do. They were told you either play it first time or you'll beat someone. Now, if you're Ronaldo, that meant every time he had to beat someone, right?
Yeah.
But that's what they did. and they played quick, and they were unpredictable in attack because it was always boom, 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 boom,
Oh,
boom.
that sounds nice. That does sound good. That's exactly what I want to watch. I don't want to
Right.
watch none of this shite. I think Louis Van
Well,
Gaal's got it the other way round. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
just go, have no fear in your own defensive third.
That's basically it, yeah. He's got a green light while we've got the ball at the back. And then
Right.
when we got it in their third, just stop. Stop and
Right.
turn around and
And
go
that,
backwards.
their line of confrontation was obviously, you don't need to do any more, honey, okay? Can you go and watch the rest of your movie? Daddy's making dinner. Go. So, yeah, that does. And Rennie Monstein didn't criticize it. We said you can see the difference now. It's not really like that. And I think someone made a very good point in a thread not too long ago when I said about Pep Guardiola being boring, which he is. His teams are boring. I'd rather watch Bayern Munich than Man United any day.
Thing is,
Watch Bayern
what you
Munich.
just
Watch
described,
Bayern Munich.
what you just
However,
described
he
though,
did have that.
Manchester United with
Yeah.
the red green light system,
Yeah.
that's sort of the way Pep Guardiola does it. Apart from maybe a little bit slow at the back, but he allows the players to create freedom.
They overplayed. They overplay too much in the back and in the middle. They overplay way too much. They keep the ball in order to defend. That is horrible. And the first thing, this German coach, Germany have had a lot of success recently, and I know it's easy to say that. But after the 2002 Euros, when England and Germany both got knocked out of group stage, England beat them 1-0, but still got knocked out. Shearer scored that goal, remember?
Yeah.
Germany, we're not having this. This is embarrassing. What do we do? So they just took everything apart, and they said, "Here's what we're going to do. We're going to play the same formation all the way up from our U9 national team. There's not a U9 national team. I mean, it's U13. It starts out to our men's team, to our first team. Going to play the same system, and we are going to pass for a reason. We're going to simplify everything, all the technique, everything to all our coaching for our children." It was almost like, when Hitler's Youth did that. It's funny, and I hope that's not offensive, but it was genius, though. Hitler's Youth, when he prepared the next generation, he molded them. He molded them all his way. That's what Germany did with their soccer.
Right, yeah,
and
fair enough.
Genius. Yeah, so, now, and then obviously 13 years later, the best team in the world again. And, they just won the World Cup. What he said was, what this guy said, the U19 German national coach, and he was fantastic. He just said, in Germany, we simplified everything. What's going to work? We want to get to the goal the fastest possible way. Every pass is with an intention to score. What is soccer about? It's about scoring goals. So we're going to pass, not to just possess. We're going to pass to score a goal because we like to score goals because we're German. And we're going to be aggressive, and we're going to get,
Was this style of play, was it called anti-Van Gaal?
No, well, again, it's anti-Pep Guardiola. He even said, that's completely different to what I hear on Spanish courses, and he had a little chuckle. And all this thing, like, there was this Barcelona, there's this Barcelona crew there, and there's this one coach doing a session with his kids, and he was having a mare, and it's so artificial, because you're coaching to coaches, but his session was not going well. And he basically said to the kid, if you want to play like Barcelona, stop. I think everyone would agree. Playing like Barcelona is a good thing. Well, yeah, it's a good thing, not really for 14-year-old kids. Are they going to play like Barcelona? Maybe, if they overplay. And I'm sorry I keep veering up. I had a parent email the other week. My boys' team, one of the best teams in the state, but we're not in the top 6. The top 6 are Premier. And then you've got C1. You've got about 40 teams trying to get in Premier. I took them over in August. They're really good. We've come on a lot technically. They couldn't hit a moving ball to begin with, which was a problem. We've worked on that. Their striking the ball was pathetic for 13-year-old boys. But they could dribble and do all the little tick-attack and stuff. That was great. The coach before them was German. He did a great job. So Kielix won C1 full state. So best team. Basically, you could argue the 7th best team in the state, right? And we scrimmaged them a few weeks ago, and we'd never beaten them. I never played against them before that we'd never beaten them.
Scrimmaged?
Yeah, scrimmaged. Had a friendly.
Oh, okay.
Right. Just with basically a game with a referee, but
Can I just
obviously,
ask one thing? What the
yeah.
bloody hell has this got to do with Manchester United? You know what I
Well,
mean?
here's my point. Here's my point. Okay,
Yeah.
so we play this team and we press so high. We don't have a line of confrontation. We press all over the field and we just go at them, go at them, go at them, go at them, right? And then we're trying to play possess just to possess, basically. They're already going to know. Well, we beat them 6-1,
Yeah.
okay? And I had a parent email, Scottish parent, saying, I know it seems like a really good result, but I counted the passes and their team had 6 passes in one possession, 7 passes, 8 passes. And our team had 1, then 2, then 1. So they actually played better soccer than us. And I stood back, I kind of thought to myself, they played better soccer than us. And this goes back to the right way. There isn't a right way to play soccer. It's the effective way you want. It's not about the short pass. It's not about the long pass. It's about the right pass. That's what I tell the children, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were having 1, 2 passes, 3 passes because we were too busy scoring goals. You know, we were winning the
Exactly.
ball and
Playing direct. Yeah.
like United used to. If you again, United on the counter, it was 1, 2, 3 passes, boom, 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 goal.
But that's basically all we want at the moment, isn't it? It's just to play direct attacking football.
Yeah, but I guess my point was style of play. You have to again. If you're going to be a Wimbledon fan, do you support? If you support teams for the way they play, then most people would support Barcelona, Real Madrid. Again, that's not anything to do with Pep. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
The winning factor comes in, kind of like the psychology behind supporting a team. But once you commit to a team, you commit to the team. You don't bitch every time you're going through a bad spell. You don't piss and moan every time you're doing that. You literally stick by the team and support them. And yeah,
Always stick by this team and support the team, but if your way of supporting the team is thinking that the man in charge is not the right man in charge, surely that's still supporting the team. All you want is what's best for the team. You don't want somebody to be in charge who's gonna not get the best out of
they
that
should
team.
be booing the board then, because they made.
Well, yeah, I don't think they were booing. They weren't booing the team.
You know,
That's the last thing the fans were doing by booing it up. They weren't booing the players. They weren't booing the team. They're booing the exactly the. It's just complete frustration from what's going on, from why that man is still in charge. In my opinion, the guy's a complete moron. He should have gone in December. We should have had Jose Mourinho come in, who would have been a good short-term fix until somebody like a Pep Guardiola or whoever was available to come in and take Manchester United to,
how is Van Gaal a moron? That's crazy.
How's Van Gaal a moron? He
Hmm?
persists with Marouane Fellaini in the centre of the park, who's got about as much talent as me as football, and I just don't understand. He persists with this slow build-up play and this very patient way of playing football, where we don't have any chances, we don't create anything. It's just trying to basically bore the opposition into making some sort of mistake at some point. But really, there's no penetration, there's no commitment of numbers forward, there's no runs in behind defence. There's basically all the fundamentals of football in terms of trying to play swift attacking football are completely lacking from Van Gaal's setup. All it is slow defensive football, and that might be effective and might win you games. You might grind up games. I was saying, it's like Arsenal in the '90s. George Graham in charge. He used to call them boring Arsenal. They go out there, they grind out results, they win 1-0, they bore the opposition to tears. And that is basically what's going on at Manchester United, except that we're not winning every game 1-0. We're not getting the results. It's just bad performance after bad performance.
Let's just please back up just a second. So if we were playing that way, but we were top of the league, it would be okay?
Of course it would be, because it's a result industry. And, but the fact is, it wouldn't be...
Right.
It still wouldn't be entertaining to us Manchester United fans.
If we would have won yesterday, maybe the fans weren't, putting so much pressure on the team, sapping the life out of them. If we would have won yesterday with the results, we're still in the title race. This is what's so insane.
We're 10 points off of Leicester City. Are in first. Leicester City are in first. 10 points
How
ahead of
far
Manchester United.
How far are we off second place?
I don't know, but we're about 4 points off of fourth place. So, Tottenham are in fourth. We're 4 points off them. I think 3 or 4 points. So yeah, we're right up there, Tom.
Tottenham could be a sneaky bet to win the title. By the way, they got a really good team.
They could be. Pochettino's just got them going. They're really like
a
well-oiled machine at the moment.
I would love to see Leicester or Tottenham win it. Someone different. That'd be amazing.
That would be good for the Premier League, yeah. But I'd rather see Manchester United win it. But I don't think that's going to happen with.
Well, they're not
Van
going to
Gaal.
with fans. They're not going to with fans you that don't back the team.
They're not going to do it with a manager like Van Gaal who can't get the best out of the team.
Right. So you get someone in there for a short. You said Mourinho
I
short
don't
term.
understand. You can
That
support
was
the
an
team, you
interesting
can support
topic.
the club, and you can get behind the team and be a complete football fan of your team that you support without supporting the manager.
Dinner's ready.
Without supporting the manager, you know what I mean? The manager.
Yeah, I don't think you can though. I don't think you can. I think that you can again. You can come away and debate it, but again, when you're booing during the game, and when you're putting that much pressure on everyone and just making it a complete.
It's bullshit, mate. He's a shocking manager.
Stressful.
He's got us playing awful football, though. The problem is he's got us playing awful football. I just want you to see this. You know, you can see that we're playing shit football out there. You can see that we're not scoring goals, not creating chances, we're having one shot on target a game. You can see that. But why do you want him to stay?
But my point, because my point is that A, we're not doing that bad in the league, and B, he's been in the job 18 months.
He's been in the job 18 months. That's a long time in this modern era. He spent a fortune, more than pretty much anybody else.
It is a long time in this modern era, which is very sad.
And he's also got us knocked out of the Champions League as well in a group we should have won. It's a pathetic result.
It's pathetic. So
pathetic
it's been pathetic. Hold on. Do you want cheese, honey? All you got to do is ask. Have a seat.
Try to do a Manchester United podcast.
This is good cheese.
You know what I mean?
Hey?
Try to do a United podcast here, kids.
Yeah. Say hi to your nephew and niece. Nephew and niece, you're on Man United podcast with the Flying Pig.
Hi, Zachary. Hi, Sophia.
Literally both hid then because they thought you could see him.
What do you think of Manchester United now?
Jack, what do you think of Manchester United? What do you think of Manchester United?
0.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, he knows.
Oh, no. You know what I got to say? Mandy
That's
brought back a Barcelona shirt from Barcelona.
Oh, no.
Filth. And you know who's on the back? And she didn't realise.
Oh, it's that Messi flat, isn't it?
No. It's worse.
Worse than Messi? Neymar.
No.
Who is it?
Suarez.
Oh, no, mate. That's disgraceful.
I know.
New dish rag, then.
No, and he likes to wear it to bed. So he's wearing Suarez on the back.
Take that off him immediately. Use it as kindling, and then get him a United shirt.
He's got a United shirt.
But that's a disgrace that he's got a Barca shirt.
It is. It's kind of. She thought she was doing a nice thing. See,
women just don't get it. Juventus shirt.
Women. Sorry, that's a terrible thing to say. My woman doesn't get it. I'm not saying women doesn't get it, but she bought back cup holders, placemats. What are they called? You know, where you put your cup of tea on.
Coasters.
Hey? Yeah.
Yeah.
She bought me back then Barcelona ones. So now in my living room I've got Barcelona coasters everywhere.
Well, they make pretty good frisbee throwing discs. You know what I mean? That's all I can think. But anyway, basically, sort your freaking life out, brother. You know, you need to just come over to the dark side. Nobody wants this Louis Van Gaal twat in charge. He's not getting anything out yet.
I hope they give it. Here's what I think. I hope they give him time. Here's what I hope. I'm hoping for a lot of things here, and they contradict each other. I hope they give him time. I hope he proves everyone, well, not everyone, some people wrong. I hope that he's successful at Man United, then goes because he's had a great career. Okay, in soccer, he's had a fantastic career.
In football,
Hey?
In football, carry on.
I hope that if that isn't the case, I hope United fans, the ones that are not getting behind the man,
like me,
like you, suffer. I hope that you see how the fan base acting and behaving so poorly.
I don't think they're behaving poorly, though. You know,
you guys now, Man United fans, are very close to causing a cycle. I'm blaming it's all on the fans, by the way. They're very
not
close
this
to
again.
Right, they're very close.
The
to
reason Man
cycle.
United play like shit out there on the pitch is because of the fans. Nice one. You know.
Ask Roy Keane.
Well, Roy Keane's a twat. You know what I mean?
Roy Keane's a legend, is what he is.
He's a legend at Manchester United, but you know, I'm sorry, but I don't want to go. I don't want to go on a night out with Roy Keane. You know
I would love to have a beer with Roy Keane.
Well, yeah, you're going to get into a ruck at the end of the night. You know it.
Well, yeah, but I'd still like to have a beer with him.
I don't think you would, Tom. I think he's quite sinister. You know?
I think he's quite sinister too. I think I'd wind him up. big time. It'd be fantastic. It'd be a right laugh. We'd have a good time together.
Fair enough.
It'd be beautiful. So yeah, that's all I had. Again on your cast yesterday. Still stand by what I said. Wasn't getting a lot of love from your subscribers, but
I've got a feeling you won't be getting much love on this particular video either, mate.
no, probably not. But it's okay.
But you bring it on yourself because you're too supportive
what's on the plate
of the side, even though it's just blind support, really. You can support and you can support, but
I'm not necessarily saying right now, and I know I did before. I know maybe Van Gaal isn't the right man. Maybe there is a change. Maybe all that. Okay, that's up for debate still, but yeah, it seems to be one step forward, 20 back, right?
Let me just leave you with this.
My issue is the behaviour of the Man United fans.
That's fine if I taught you to speak over me. Carry on.
Okay, perfect. And again, this is big sibling psychology. I just don't agree with you.
That's fine. Let me just leave you with a couple of key points here, right?
Yeah.
So we failed to net in 11 first halves at Old Trafford in a row. So we haven't scored in the first half at Old Trafford 11 games in a row. Now, traditionally at home at Old Trafford, you would go out there and you would attack. You would attack. For the entire 90 minutes, not just the start. At home against the average side I'm talking about here, that's what you would do, right? Okay, we've taken 37 points from our first 23 games, which is the lowest in the Premier League era that we've ever done. That's actually 3 points fewer than under David Moyes in 2013-14. Can you believe that? And yet he's still in charge. He's had way more time, way more money than Moyes, and he's doing much worse.
It's not really much worse because he got Champions League football his first season. So
yeah, but Moyes got us out the Champions League group and got us actually to the quarters, and Louis van Gaal got us knocked out in the group stage. So that's worse.
Again, I think David Moyes should have had more time.
Was it the last 16? But either way, I think Moyes probably should have had more time on the home side.
I don't think he was the right man for the job. I don't know if Louis.
No, he wasn't. But it's always going to be a more difficult job taking over from Alex Ferguson. What the fans need to do
is they need to then come up with a dossier, and the supporters trust need to. It's very hard, but communicate with the board and basically say, we're expecting this then. You need to play this style of football. You need to play this brand, or blah blah blah. Not Pep Guardiola, please.
Well,
but
that is the general consensus, really. That's what the fans want. We just want someone to play that type of attacking
at the time, you still support the team. You don't boo at half time.
But they're booing the situation. They're booing the frustration. It's not that they're booing
they're frustrated because their expectations are unrealistic.
What? It's unrealistic to be playing, at least having a couple of shots on target against Southampton at home. That's not unrealistic, mate. If you think that is an unrealistic target, then you might as well go and support Ketter in town.
No, but again, they expect to win every single game. That's not the way soccer is. They're just being spoiled.
That is the expectation at a club like Manchester.
I know.
That was true under Sir Alex Ferguson as well. Sir Alex Ferguson was
everyone was behind
pressure.
Sir Alex. If you remember, Sir Alex said,
"That's not true.
It's your job to get behind the new manager."
Yeah, but that's not true. You know what? Our Uncle Robert, big Manchester United fan, he freaking hated
Sir
Alex Ferguson. He never liked
Didn't ever like him, did he?
No. And he had all of that success. So
yeah.
I suppose it's just a game of opinions, isn't it? Really, but my opinion is Louis van Gaal's not the right man for the job. We should make room for somebody else to have an opportunity. That's what I think.
Well, again, they do that. I would blame the fans for a lot of what's going on this season.
Oh my days. Anyway, we'll agree to disagree, and I'm not on that note. Thanks very much for your time. And,
We'll PigCast after the next game, okay?
Yeah,
I can treat your loyal fan base to my philosophies.
Yeah, and have fun reading the comments on this one as well, brother. Okay.
Hey, I love them. They're what gets me through the day. I love it.
This one.
All right, Joe, Zach, eat what's on your plate right now, please. Come here.
Feed him something he actually wants, then, mate.
He asked for spaghetti. I made him spaghetti.
Yeah, but your spaghetti's different than spaghetti.
It is. You're right. It's not as good as Mandy's. I don't know how it's not as good because I want to say that. Anyway, all right, mate.
All right, mate. Nice speaking to you. Have a good one. We'll have a chat soon.
Hey, when's United's next game? I'm sorry, I don't
Friday,
know.
Friday night, Derby County, FA Cup.
Oh, perfect. That'll be the one. If they don't beat Derby Friday, Van Gaal's gone.
Yeah, it's
Unfortunately.
got to be, hasn't it? Got to be.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's ridiculous, but hey, what are you gonna do? I'll support United through thick and thin. You know,
Oh,
I'll
all right,
always be
mate.
behind because I'm a true supporter.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
All right.
All right, mate. Nice speaking to you. Have a good one.
Man United aren't an extension of me. I
See
support
you.
the club because I love the club. Okay, they're not an extension of me. Win, lose or draw, I love them.
I'll catch
Okay.
you down the road.
All right. Bye bye.
See you later, mate.
Bye.
Bye.